Having a British passport revoked could be a death sentence. Recent figures suggest the number of people having their passports torn up on national security grounds has recently soared. On the blacklist are people London suspects are linked to terrorism, but it doesn't have enough evidence to prosecute. Some of the former British nationals have been allegedly detained, tortured, or even killed abroad. Let's take a closer look now. British-born Mohammed Sakr had his citizenship revoked almost 3 years ago. He just turned 27 when he was killed in a U.S. drone strike in Somalia. His close friend Bilal al-Barjawi, who came to the UK as a baby and grew up there, was killed under the same circumstances in Somalia. Within hours of calling his wife in London to congratulate her on the birth of their first son, the same year a Sudanese-British man took his 4 British children on holiday to the Sudan. 4 days after leaving, he was stripped of his citizenship and his children were prevented from growing up in the UK. In another case, a British-born family, including 3 kids, all stuck in Pakistan after losing citizenships while they were there 2 years ago. Let's go now to London, where RT's Andrew Farmer spoke with the journalist behind the investigation.
Well, the full extent of a chilling government programme to rid the country of suspect terrorists has been revealed. We now know that over the last 3 years, 16 people have been stripped of their British passports on the grounds of national security. Critics claim that these suspects have little chance of appeal, with human rights lawyers actually describing the whole process as medieval and sinister. Well, to talk more about this is Chris Woods from the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, which actually broke this story. Chris, within your report, it says, or people are claiming, that this completely ignores people's human rights and also the basic principle of innocent until proven guilty. What is the evidence to support this?
Well, all of these 16 individuals have had their citizenship revoked, their passports cancelled on the personal say-so of the Home Secretary. So the courts have had no say in this process. We don't know the evidence that's been laid against these men. And even if they are able to get an appeal, which is very, very difficult, that appeal will mostly be heard in secret, and again, those affected and their lawyers may never know the true extent of the evidence against them. So it's a very secretive process in which the rule of law really does seem to be absent in some places. And that's been commented on by judges sitting and looking at this process, some of whom have raised the point that the government has waited until people have gone on family holidays, for example, before stepping in and removing their citizenship, effectively locking the door behind people, and not only locking those affected out of the country, but their families as well, their children who are British born, unable to come back into the country without separating the families and so on. So this can have very serious implications far beyond the individuals affected.
As we know, 2 of these suspects have actually been killed by US drone strikes. Is that a coincidence?
There's no proof yet of any direct connection between those events, but certainly people are asking questions. It is clear that those people died after their citizenship was removed as part of an active targeting by the United States. And again, neither of those individuals were ever charged with any offence in the UK. We know they were accused of serious terrorist offences, but there were no charges ever laid against them. The government's response so far has been to say that citizenship here in the United Kingdom is a privilege and not a right. They're sticking by their guns. They're saying that these are all cases where the government has acted because of their concerns about the threats that these individuals represent to the United Kingdom. So in the Home Office's view, they've done the right thing and they're sticking by their action.
OK, Chris, thank you. We will have to leave it there. It is worth pointing out that the government has had these powers since 2002, although it is this current government that has really ramped up its use, and over the last 3 years the number of cases has increased from 6 to 21. And of course, as we've heard, the government only has to publicly justify what it's doing on the grounds it is in the interests of national security.
More examples of a British-U.S. connection. Last June, a former London-based care worker, Mahdi Hashi, lost his citizenship and was allegedly pressured by British Secret Services to work as an informant. After rejecting MI5's offer, he was reportedly secretly sent to the U.S., where he's apparently facing terror charges. We caught up with his father, who says his son is being unfairly persecuted.
It was unexpected and shock to the whole family, who are all British and who live here. All of us live here as a British citizen. But it was all of a shock to us. We are wondering how it can be like that for someone just to be, his citizenship just to be revoked like that. The British citizenship has been removed from him while he was out of the country. He was away, and it was even hard for us to contact him to appeal against the case. All I can say is that Mahdi is a Muslim in belief, and he's a practicing Muslim. But being a practicing Muslim is not being an Islamist. That's all why I can say. That's all why he's being victimized.